Day 2 in Istanbul, and I have just had my surgery. It's now the evening of day 2, and I will take you through a rundown of what took place today. So we left at 7 AM to get to the clinic, which is just a short drive away from the hotel. We had breakfast before we left, and then when we were there was food and drink available for myself and my partner throughout the day. We met so many people who had come from all over the world to come and have hair transplant surgery in Turkey. So we met a lovely couple who were from Australia, and another guy was from America, and somebody else was from Germany. So there really was a nice mix of people that we were able to see. And surprisingly, to know that people travel from the other side of the world to come and have surgery here. So arriving at the clinic, it was so modern, so fresh, so clean, and a well-oiled machine. The expertise, the level of care and service were just incredible. There were so many people who arrived throughout the day with a morning wave and an afternoon wave. And that really shows how popular hair transplantation surgery is in Istanbul, the sheer volume of people that come to have surgery. Something that did really surprise me was to know that around 2% of patients are female and 98% of patients are men. There were men with receding hairlines, with thinning and baldness, so every degree of hair loss, but I was the only woman. And it's amazing that they have this treatment available for females, but also very surprising to me that not many women feel that this is something that they have been able to do in the past. So really it's about breaking down the stigma attached to female hair loss and female thinning and baldness, and opening up that conversation to say treatments are available. It's something that is incredibly attainable and not just for men. So arriving at the clinic, I was checked in and completed my medical forms. These are consent forms for the surgery. Signing my medical consent forms, I was then taken into the waiting room with everybody where we were fitted with IV drips. So you went into a nurse's room where a drip is placed in the arm, and that's to administer your antibiotics, your fluids and pain relief throughout the treatment. Following this, pictures are then taken in the photography room. This involves lifting the hair back with a hairband, as guys wouldn't need to do this as they have shorter hair, to expose the areas of where my hair has receded. This is used for the before and after pictures for the surgery to be able to show the progress and growth of the new follicles. Something that really shocked me was when we went into the meeting then with the surgeon. And this is where you talk about your expectations, the look that you're looking to create, and they're able to then show you by drawing on your new hairline what is achievable for you. And this will really vary from individual to individual. It depends on your donor area, which is the back of the head that they take the hair follicles from and transplant them. So depending on how your donor area is for follicles, depends on what results that you can achieve and how many grafts that you can have. Now, I believed that I just had a very small band of hair follicles with some receding around the sides. So it was the smallest package available. But actually, my surgeon advised me that I could have 2,500 follicles, which is more than I was expecting. And the reason for this is because my central parting hairline had thinned, and you were able to see my scalp, making it visible. I didn't know that you could actually cover the scalp with new follicles when hair is already there but thinning. And I've definitely noticed in the last 5 to 7 years, after having children, after going through illnesses, that my hair has dropped out and really exposed the scalp at the front of my head in my hairline. So to be told that this could be filled in with a triangle in the top of the hairline literally made me feel so emotional. It was this weight off of my shoulders to not only give myself a thicker, fuller hairline, but to hide the exposed scalp as well. And that really is life-changing. It's so hard to explain if you haven't felt the sadness that is attached to that. But oh my God, I literally wanted to jump for joy when I heard that. I then had my eyebrows measured to have the infills on the very tips of my eyebrows from thinning through over plucking in earlier years. I already had my eyebrows tattooed to hide the thinning of my hair, so it was really easy to follow the guideline that was already there because I was happy with the shape and size of them. Now, they say that eyebrows are cousins, not twins. They're not looking to be too perfect and identical because it would appear fake. So this is a very natural way of curving the hair with the grains of the follicles to go in the direction that it looks as if I was born that way. And that's what I love, surgery that is undetectable. Having that marked up, I was then taken to a room to have my hair trimmed in the donut area, ready for my surgery.
So I've got the lines drawn on for where my new hairline will be. I did not expect this section to be covered. I'm so happy with this. It means that it will be around 2,500 to 2,700 grafts, which is actually quite a big procedure. It's not just the line that you see here, but also in the sides and this triangle. This is life-changing for me, and I'm so excited to share my results about this.
This allows the hair to return and grow back without showing that you have donated hair to your hair transplant. So within a few weeks and months, my hair will regrow, and this big patch that has been shaved will be covered over and undetectable. I then had a small area of my temple shaved where baby hairs would be put in at the very front of the sides there to create a natural, soft and gentle wavy hairline instead of a blunt straight line that looks very obviously fake. This is the first time I've ever had my hair shaved, and it was a shock to see myself with this hairline partially moved back and this big patch missing at the back. It was like, wow, I've never seen this or expected this, but it also made me appreciate and understand how severely hair loss affects women. To be able to see what you're used to, a thick mane of hair, long hair, to then seeing your scalp, it really does shock you, and it felt so cold to have that hair removed. So then moving into my photos once again, I then had pictures taken of my donor area and the markings on my head to show where the follicles would go. And this again allows them to track the progress of my surgery. I was then taken into surgery.
So I'm ready for my hair transplant surgery. I have my hair and eyebrows marked up and I've been shaved.
I was placed face down on the bed for the local anaesthetic to be administered to my donor area. This involved a series of needle injections with anaesthetic, which is a very fine needle that's injected a few centimetres apart around the head in that shaved area to numb the skin completely. Now, if you can picture maybe 5 minutes of needles into the back of the head and then it turns numb, that is the discomfort of having a hair transplant, a series of injections. And for the sake of just deep breathing, closing your eyes and meditating, you can get through it. Anybody can get through this. I then had the follicles taken from the back of the hair, and being face down on a bed with a drip in my arm, closing my eyes and listening to music, all I could feel were the sensations of the removal, the extraction of the follicles. This felt like a pushing sensation on my head, but as it's numb, you don't have those finite details. You can't quite tell where it is, but you can feel a force. The sound of the hair follicles coming out is probably the most noticeable part of this part of the procedure. And to me, it sounded like a crunching sound, like crunching a cereal or pushing a wire brush over concrete, a kind of sound, if that is relevant to it. And this, again, I lost track of time as it took place. So the surgery itself started at 1 p.m. and finished at 7, so it was 6 hours in duration. It took around an hour or two for the extraction process. I then turned onto my front, was laying face up and had my eyes covered with a bandage so that the incisions could be made by my surgeon to the forehead and also my eyebrows. This technique used a series of different gradients and degrees for the hair follicle to allow the positioning of the hair to grow in a certain direction. As my hairline grows backwards, I've never been able to have a fringe, and my surgeon was able to place the follicles coming forwards to give this thickness and fullness to the front of my face. And that in itself is so exciting for me to see the change when the hair grows in the correct direction. This took around 1 to 2 hours for the incisions to be made by my surgeon, and then I was passed to the nurses who then transplanted the hair follicles into the slits that were made. So the pulling sensation in the back of the head and the pressing and the pulling and the crunching was then followed by the slits in the front of the head, and the transplantation felt like a separating sensation, a pulling open of the slits to be able to poke the hair follicles in and twist to remove the instrument that implants them. So I experienced a whole range of sensations and feelings, none of which were painful, and throughout, if anything did become slightly tender, they were able to give me more local anaesthetic injections, and that really took any sensation away, so that all I felt was kind of pressing and pulling and stretching sensations. I did fall asleep throughout my procedure, probably from flying and been excited the night before and not having as much sleep as I possibly would have liked. So I was able to just switch off, to breathe, to meditate, listen to the music. I had a nice nap throughout. Hair transplant was finished after 6 hours, and then I had my hair cleaned and washed. A spray is sprayed across the hair throughout the treatment, and this is to keep the hair moist and soft and able to easily, smoothly transplant the hairs in place. I also have a saline solution in my aftercare pack, which I use every 2 hours for the day of my surgery, the next 24 hours, to be able to stop the skin from drying out or splitting. My hair was washed at the clinic, I was bandaged and had my hair blow dried, and then we were able to come home to have our dinner. So I'm back in the hotel room this evening, shortly after having my hair transplant, and I've noticed that my forehead has started to swell now. The anaesthetic is still in place, so I don't feel any pain or discomfort. It just feels as though my head is out here somewhere, but it's not. I know it's in here. There's a slight bit of swelling, and I'll sleep at a 45-degree angle this evening with a neck pillow which has been given to me by my aftercare pack to ensure that the blood flow is down from the head and not into the head. So I'll return to the clinic tomorrow morning, where I'll be collected at 9 AM, and this is for my post-surgery check. And I will keep you informed of how I get on in my next video. If you do have any questions, comments, feelings, finding or feedback, please feel free to leave them in the comment box below, and I'll do my best to answer as many questions as I can. Thank you for joining me on my journey, and I hope that you found this video informative.